There was a time when Vancouver Island's forest seemed endless, and now the logging companies have taken over 50% of Vancouver Island's forests. And really, when you look at it, they've taken almost 80% of the merchantable forest. So they've overlogged all the other areas around Port Alberni and in the South Island. And now they're looking over their shoulders at our green pastures here and saying, hey, they still have some over that away. So we've got intensified pressure now to log Clayoquot Sound. People in the mills in Port Alberni, for example, are dependent on the wood coming out of here because they've overlogged their area. And the way that we feel is that Clayoquot Sound shouldn't suffer the brunt of past bad management and overlogging. That we have a really special place here. It's really, well, anywhere else that you go in Europe, in a lot of the world, it just isn't possible to have a place like Clayoquot Sound. It's just a dream now. They can't save a place like this because they don't have it anymore.
I come from Europe, and we have been destructing our primary forests for a long time already. We already committed the same mistake. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here, is to give testimony from our countries as well, not to do the same mistake. And on the other hand, we are consumers of your pulp. 30% of what's coming out of your forest is coming to Europe for our consumption, for our paper. So we take a big part of the guild as well. And I'll try every possible thing next Thursday when I will be giving a press conference in Brussels, in Belgium, to the European press, to make them clear that there should be a reaction, a clear reaction from Europe.
Basically, time has run out. People say that, gee, maybe if only we could talk it out. We should really need to talk on our differences. That may have worked, and it may work in the future, but not while the old growth forest continues to fall. We've run out of time. If we don't set aside Clayoquot Sound now, we will lose the opportunity to set aside that a large area of lowland temperate rainforest. We will lose that opportunity on Vancouver Island. We've lost that opportunity in every other place in the world. In Washington, in Oregon, in California, it's gone, and it will never return. There's not a single coastal watershed bigger than 5,000 hectares. There's not one bigger than 3,000 hectares or 2,000 hectares remaining in those coastal southern states. If you think it's in Alaska, think again. The northern forests of Alaska are nothing like the lowland, rich, big tree forests we have at these latitudes. And the last large, intact area is in Clayoquot Sound, and it is already tattered. We've run out of time for talking. The government knows this. That's the most infuriating thing to people. This NDP government knows exactly what it's doing. And it's buckled into internal IWA pressure. The share groups, the companies, don't really perceive a problem. They think they seem to look as if you can sort of continue to work and carry on as you have been. Everything will be okay. It'll work itself out. It's a kind of philosophy that I see as what made the Newfoundland fishery collapse.
A big old tree dies in the forest, it's not wasted. If the tree that's down in the forest takes as long to decompose as it does to grow in the first place, it's providing life when it's on
life
the ground.
For what? Not for deer.
Who cares? Who gives it?
Because there's nothing underneath these trees for them to eat.
Deers aren't the only thing.
Vegetation growing. It's a swamp underneath this old growth forest.
These old growth.
Oh no! Don't tell me animals grow in there. Bullshit.
Are you angry?
I'm a hunter.
Are you angry?
I'm bloody angry that you assholes are coming up here and telling us how to live on Vancouver Island. Where the hell are you from?
Where are you from?
I live in Vancouver Island.
I live in Port Alberni.
Oh, you do, eh? Where does your husband work?
I don't have a husband.
You don't have a husband. How? Where do you work?
In Port Alberni.
Where at?
Why do you want to know?
In a store.
In a school.
In a school. Okay, those kids that go to school that make your livelihood, where do their parents work?
The point
No, the point is not that, lady. Where are these people going to work if you're going to put them out of
We
jobs?
would like them to be able to work here in the forest, but there isn't going
Fine.
to be a forest if we cut it all away.
This is the government agreed to it. Everybody agreed except for a few minority assholes.
No.
The majority agreed to
No,
this
they
thing.
did
Yes,
not.
they
The
did.
majority did not.
Where the hell were you when this thing was going through Parliament and everything else? You're sitting on your ass waiting for your welfare check. Don't give me that shit. You don't get a welfare check. Huh? It did. So the NDP that you teachers voted in, the socialist horde that you voted in and took out social credit government, now they've turned on you saying, come on, don't give me that shit. Did you not vote for the NDP?
What's that got to do with it?
That's the government that said, hey, this is the way it's going to be logged, and this is true, and this is the way it should be logged.
I want to also say that obviously we're here to support the decision of the government because it's right and it's proper. It represents a compromise. It represents democracy. It represents a balance, and that's what we have to find and achieve in British Columbia.
The government, they talk about a balanced decision that addresses to some degree environmental issues, to some degree industry, but there is no direct reference to how it balances and addresses our ability to approach the treaty table. See, we've got outstanding claims in the territory. Our concern is that the decision will remove all of the resources before we even get to the table. And so we don't feel we're getting our voices heard locally.
The Clayoquot Compromise has put us all in a compromising position. Essentially what's happening in Clayoquot Sound is you've got the communities of the region next door to Clayoquot Sound, which is Barkley Sound, which has the huge mill town of Port Alberni in Barkley Sound, and the little satellite logging community of Ucluelet in Barkley Sound. Anyone who's been to Ucluelet and looked at the clear-cut hillsides that form the backdrop of the town, or driven much around Port Alberni in the Barkley Sound area, knows how quickly and how hugely that land has been clear-cut logged. They've essentially been logging at a grossly unsustainable rate. Now the companies, McMillan Bloedel and International Forest Products, want to grab the forests of Clayoquot Sound. And they've chased out in front of them like stormtroopers the Share Group, the right-wing workers that are very vocal for cutting the forests of Clayoquot Sound. One problem, most of them don't live in Clayoquot Sound. Most of them come from Barkley Sound, which has been trashed. The people who live in Clayoquot Sound, 40% of those people are from the villages of Opitsit, Ahousaht, Heshquit, the New Chalmers people. They hate the Clayoquot compromise decision. The people of Tofino don't like the Clayoquot compromise decision, most of them. They have a different vision for their community.